This Equine Compass is brought to you in part by a New You salon offering color, wax, acrylics, and highlights, located at 2 Marietta Court, Edgewood, New Mexico, 505-286-4494.
Welcome, New Mexico. You're listening to Equine Compass. Hi, I'm Colleen Novotny, your host for today's program. And on today's program, we're going to be talking about the perfect seat. And we're talking with Manuel Trigo from Scottsdale, Arizona, and Kerry Picken from Kiowa, Colorado. And the clinic that we're talking about, the perfect seat, is where we marry two things. We marry Pilates with equitation. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So, Kerry, what I want to do is kind of talk a little bit about Pilates and let you give our listening audience an idea of how you go about marrying these two things, equitation and Pilates. First of all, maybe you explain to them what Pilates really is. Do you think people know what that is?
Some don't.
Some don't. Well, let's tell them then, okay?
So how I describe it in the simplest term is that Pilates is a full body workout that gives you strength and flexibility at the same time.
Okay, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so for the riders, what I have found is that, a lot of people don't realize how active you have to be in the saddle. That it really is an active participation. But they also need the flexibility in order to move their body so that the horses can move with them. Mm-hmm. And so in all the lateral work and in all the upper level movement, they need to be able to move their spine and yet stay stable at the same time. And so that's where Pilates can come in.
Okay. And so how does this work then? So say we're starting tomorrow morning and we're going to have our Pilates in the morning and our equitation in the afternoon. Tell me what your part of the clinic will deal with in the morning, how you're structured.
We'll do 4 or 5 exercises each session to give them a wide variety that will give them different movements within their body that will help them in the exercises we'll be doing on horseback, but also keep it simple enough to where they remember and it's easy enough for them to do, and also some repetitions. So some of the exercises are the core exercises that they'll be doing throughout both days. So what I'm going to be doing is walking them through those exercises and how to get the stability on the mat without a moving horse underneath them at the same time, because it's just too hard to learn it when you have another living being moving them according to their movement at the same time.
Right.
So what we will do is go through all the mat exercises, and I will teach them how to get the stability as well as moving within the stability, and then we'll move on to the sections that Manuel teaches, and then we'll continue talking about how what we did in the morning on the mat will relate when they're on the ball, and when they relate to when they're under saddle as well.
Okay. Well, give me a little bit of history about you, first of all. What got you into doing this, and how long have you been doing Pilates and working with Manuel on the equitation part?
Well, I've been doing Pilates for 8 or 9 years now. I got into it because I met my Pilates instructor actually at the gym. So I was lifting weights on a regular basis and doing cardio, so the typical workout. And she was in her Pilates program at the time and asked me if I wanted to be her working student, essentially, through her internship. And so I had thought I was in pretty decent shape until she started working with me. And it was a whole nother thing because I didn't have as much flexibility as I had had once.
Well, you built up all those muscles.
I
right?
did. I did.
Okay.
And so when I started working with her, I found how to be able to build longer strength for myself, because my muscles tend to get short and large rather than long and lean. So that's how it kind of started, and I absolutely fell in love with it, because for the first time in years my body felt great. I had no pain, I was still strong, but I didn't hurt at the same time. So then that started my journey into becoming an instructor, and I've ridden since I was 7. So for me it's two passions that I'm putting together. And then I met Manuel probably 4.5 years ago and started learning about the classical dressage, and I work in a traditional dressage barn as well, so it was just kind of my journey of the different elements and education. And so when we started talking about doing this, it was really exciting because I was able to put both of my passions together and help people help their horses to be able to achieve the higher level, or even just better what they're doing now.
So do you still teach Pilates at home in Colorado?
I do.
All right.
I
Do you have a studio, or you just go?
Right now, I'm teaching out of my house.
Are you?
And out of a studio as well. So I teach private lessons, I teach group lessons, and then now I teach private lessons on the mat and then under saddle.
You want to move down here and do that? Okay. We could use some Pilates instructors out here. That would be very nice. Well, it sounds exciting, and you've been doing it for 4.5 years with Manuel?
Well, he and I just started the clinic last year.
Oh, last year. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds very, very exciting. I think people are going to have a lot to look forward to tomorrow. Now, the one quick question: will you be starting with this? And everybody brings an exercise ball. Do you start with that tomorrow, or is that the second day that you work on that, or is it both?
So we start on the Pilates mat first, and then we move into the ball, and then we move on to horseback, and we do that both days in both sessions. Which
so
I can talk about as well.
Okay, actually, the ball is simulating the horse. Is that right? Manuel?
Yes, because Kerry gonna tell you the ball is not Pilates. So I got the message since the beginning because I knew nothing about Pilates, but the idea of the ball was to try to stimulate a horse, the position, the shoulder in, the haunches in, make to understand to people when they sit on this ball where the ball is rolling. So a big surprise for most of the participants at the very beginning is the ball is not necessarily rolling in the direction where you think it's going to be. And actually, the ball is the horse. The horse feels the same way on his back, and he's going to move the same way. So this is why we came up with, first we do the Pilates where Kerry is working on specific muscles that they need for the movement they're going to be on the horse. Stimulation on the ball to try to have the position, the feeling, where they have to put the weight, where they have to put the legs. And the third part on the horse, putting in practice what they just learned.
Okay. And so how long do people usually get it like right away, or does this take a series of?
No, they get it right away because it's for a lot of people, it's they discover things, they understand things about feelings in the seat, the position in the horse and things like that it never came to their mind. When we are on a horse, the problem is our brain doesn't have full capacity. As you know, as a young rider, the first thing is survive the ride. So you have no brain. I mean, you have basically an instinct, which is exactly the opposite of what you should do on a horse. And it takes longer until you become comfortable on a horse and you start using your brain, and you start having then, in a much higher level, the feelings back, the feelings of the movement of the horse, the balance, everything that you can use now to improve your riding. So actually anybody starting riding should start with something like that, But again, it's not really possible because most of the people at that moment cannot understand things like that.
That means
because the brain is so focused on trying to survive the lesson or the ride or the clinic eventually that they cannot get much from that. So you need already a level of riding where people are sensitive enough or relaxed enough, I should say, on a horse, so they can learn all these kind of things here.
So the Pilates and the exercises in the morning, that whole stimulation, that will relax them, more or less. That's what we're looking for, a relaxation, so that when they get onto the horse, they're more relaxed, No,
I think from my perspective anyway, it's what we were talking about is not everybody has body awareness.
Well, that's true too.
In depth to really understand their own body, nonetheless be able to feel their own horses. And so that's what I feel anyway that the Pilates will help them with, is they have to start paying attention to different muscles in their body and different things to get an independent seat and independent hands and legs, so that on the horses, they not only are aware of themselves, but they're feeling the horses as well.
Yeah. Okay. Let me explain to you how everything started with Kerry from my point of view. If I do a clinic and I ask these 4 riders riding at the same time, and I ask, tuck your pelvis forward, I could get 4 different results. So, I mean, it's one word, but then the way that you interpret in your body, tucking the pelvis forward, some people are going to really tuck the pelvis forward, some others are going to tuck the pelvis backward, so the opposite result on the horse, and things like that. Most of my students, clients, and so on are women. I'm a man. So I cannot put my hands everywhere to try to fix the pelvis.
That would be difficult. Yes, I agree.
Okay,
yes.
you see what I mean? I will spend more time on a court than in the arena. So the idea came like this. I was always thinking, and then I saw Kerry working Pilates and so on, and I said, okay, maybe doing both things together could be very nice because she can teach the people. And you can touch those women. Fix them. Put the pelvis, if we stay there in the correct position and so on, for what we need. So I said to Kerry, can you help me with that? And so we go to a very basic level. But let's try it. So for the basic movement that you need to do on the horse, like shift your weight on the left for a shoulder in, move your upper leg backward, move your hips forward in the rhythm of the horse at the walk, for example. Very, very basic things. Can you help me with that? So can you teach people, when I'm going to say no in the future, pelvis forward, everybody, to do the same thing? Also, what is happening nowadays, people, they ride horses, are not necessarily physically fitted. That was the first thing that she was telling me. You can ride a horse, you can do this, you can do that, but not everybody. So what does that mean? So when I'm teaching somebody to piaffe a horse and he has to collect in his seat, get a position and so on. She realized first than me actually that they cannot take the position that I'm expecting because they don't have the correct muscle to stretch the body up, to bring the abdominals inside and up, or they don't even know how to do that. And so that's her job, and that's the complement part of the Pilates, which is pretty easy because the Pilates don't require, at the degree that she's teaching for this clinic, doesn't require special equipment. So you can be on a weekend anywhere on a hotel or whatever, and you still can do your little exercise that you're going to need for Monday or Tuesday when you're going to ride your horse, to collect the horse, to do anything like that. So it's a very nice complement.
It sounds like it would be. And that's where you said something about teaching them to shoulder in, the positions and all of that kind of stuff on the ball, and showing them the type of muscles that they need to use in order to be able to do that correctly, to communicate with the horse. Wow. Now this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I want to see the difference that makes once they get onto their horses. And it's going to be interesting to talk to the students afterwards to see what kind of feelings that they have when they get onto those horses and stuff. So I think that's what we'll do tomorrow after class and stuff is talk to some of the students and see just how much of a difference they felt. What do you think? We'll sit around and have a chat about that. That's an excellent idea. We'll do that. All right, guys. Well, let's just say goodnight right now. And we'll get back with it again tomorrow afternoon after the clinic's over with and talk to the students and see what they have to say about it. Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, now a few words from our students attending the Perfect Seat, Pilates and Equitation.
Hi, Dree. Thanks for joining me here today. Can you just give me some idea of how this Perfect Seat worked for you today, doing the Pilates and then riding little Dottie here today in the arena?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a broken ankle and a hip that I'm supposed to get replaced. And I was able to find a way to work on the ball and work on the horse that didn't cause any pain. And I was still an effective rider because I could train her to do things she hadn't learned before. So it was very exciting, both as a trainer and a rider and a person in pain.
Would you recommend, I guess I should say, a Pilates before, to learn about a better seat to help you with the riding?
Absolutely. Working on the ball to learn what specific muscles you're actually supposed to use is priceless, because that just isn't taught anymore. All you hear in a lesson is heels down, put your hands up, sit deeper. But what muscle does that exactly again?
Very good.
So, and this horse has never done leg yield and never stopped with no reins. And I taught her both in less than 10 minutes by just learning and knowing how my seat and my body can mold her, and she was comfortable and happy.
Very good. Thank you so much, Dree. All righty. Okay, Jody, can I get your opinion of the Perfect Seat with Pilates today? I know. Quick.
Mind fright. Well, I think it's really useful for being more effective and efficient under saddle. I definitely found some improvements in being able to get something from my horse without having to fight so hard for it.
Mm-hmm. Was it better with you just on the bareback pad?
Yeah, I wanted to try the bareback pad because I ride and set all the time. I want to get a little closer to them, see exactly what kind of effects I had just by changing my weight and my body position and keeping my abs in.
Was it a big difference for you?
Yeah, I think it was important to me. I may go that route again tomorrow or see what I can get done in a real saddle.
Okay, good deal. Well, thank you, Jody. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Good to see you, Colleen.
Good to see you. All right, Michelle, tell me a little bit about what you thought of this perfect seat using Pilates to get your balance and to learn a little more about your feel of your horse.
Well, this goes right along the lines of a lot of stuff that I teach and integrate into my own practice as a rider and clinician, or not clinician, but mostly I do one-on-one or small group riding instruction. So I always get really triple-fold benefits out of clinics like this. It's the benefit for the horse, the benefit for myself as a student, and then also ways to teach better. So, and I felt like personally I just have a few epiphanies in my own body today, and it's always good when I feel that in myself, then it can filter down that much better for my students and everything too. So
great.
I thought it was integrated really, really nicely, and I just felt like a better connection, stacking the bones in my spine and supporting that and so on.
There's a lot of Pilates. Yeah, there's a lot of Pilates classes out there, but I don't know of too many of them that equate it with your riding seat. Have you experienced that before?
Yeah, actually, I have. There's another gal that comes through the area. Her name is Janice Dulac, and she's written some books, and so I have had personal experience with that. Yeah, and spent some time with her up in Colorado and so on. So this was just again just much of a similar, and actually it is the same concepts and everything, but it's always great to just hear somebody else's way of how they prioritize things or how they communicate things. And then, of course, Manuel Trigo's approach is not necessarily Pilates per se at all. He's coming at it from the riding standpoint.
Absolutely.
So it was really nice to really have just a different set of eyes, ears, and communication and such on the whole clinic. So I always get a lot out of that.
All righty. Well, thank you, Michelle. Sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, why don't you give me a little information about what you learned today and what you think about this perfect seat using Pilates to help you get started on it.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I think it really gets you in tune with how your body works, just as a human standing or lying on the ground or on the ball. And then with the specific movements that we were taught today about how to really engage your core so that the center of gravity is able to move with the horse, that'd be hard to teach someone without a Pilates mat or a ball.
So you learned that while you're sitting on the ball, kind of working on the ball, and they're giving you some indication, okay, if you move your body this way, this is how the horse will respond. Sort of like the ball responds. The ball is
exactly. Like if you're too far back or you're pushing your pelvis forward, the ball scoots forward in front of you. That's exactly what your horse is going to do. Same thing if you're pitched too far forward and you're not engaging maybe the lower part of your belly, then the ball shoots out from behind you.
Very good. So Pilates is extremely helpful, in your opinion, to help you get that perfect seat, to get yourself balanced.
Absolutely. This is the first time I've ever done Pilates. I've done yoga and all other different kinds of sports and different kinds of training, but I think for riding, Pilates is, it's extremely painful. I hope I can walk tomorrow. But I really find that it was really the key of sitting on the ball and having that movement and then allowing the horse to move you in that way rather than you getting on the horse and trying to force the movement.
Right,
you have
exactly.
to, it tunes you in with the movement of the horse, and that's what perfect. I found really valuable.
All righty. Well, thank you, Sarah, very much.
Thank
Glad
you
enjoyed it. Okay, I'm here with B.A. and Dave Peters today, and they were in the clinic at the Perfect Seat with Pilates. B.A., give me some idea of what you thought about this today.
I don't know why everybody's not doing this.
Is that right?
Honestly, I don't. It was just fabulous.
Was it?
Yeah.
And being doing the Pilates on the mat and on the big exercise ball, what did that do for you?
It did exactly what Manuel talked about. You get that mental, not just a picture, but it's almost that memory of position.
That muscle memory in your body?
Yeah,
okay.
And the fluidity of the movement, and it's so much easier to transfer that than when you get on the horse.
It is. Just to turn it over and say, okay, now this is what I did on the ball, this is what I got to do for him. And you found your horse responding.
Oh, my God. Best ride I've ever had on him.
Good. Dave, what do you think?
Well, we talked before, Colleen, and after all of the years that I've had of riding horses and doing all of the other dumb stuff that I did, there's so many broke parts. But what I found interesting was, I don't know if it's going to fix it, but what it did was make me very aware of things that I do that aren't good or correct because I'm compensating for broken parts.
Oh, yeah.
It made me very aware of that. And so I kind of changed a little bit of what I was doing, and it made a difference.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, because most people, if they've had an injury, they really ride to protect what had been injured before, and they don't even realize they're doing it.
That's right.
So this loosened you up and made you aware of that.
Well, when you, as BA said, when you become mentally aware of what you're doing, then you can do something about it. You can make a compensation to put yourself back where you belong. But when you become habitual of doing something, protecting injuries or whatever it is, then you're probably not in the right position.
That makes sense.
And it makes all the difference in the world. Yeah.
Gosh, good
That's
deal.
great.
So you would recommend this?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, it's the perfect seat using Pilates.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. I think this has been a very successful day for everybody.
You bet.
Well, there you have it, folks. The perfect ending for the perfect day, learning the perfect seat with Pilates. Yeah, you got it. A little corny, I know. But listen, those folks really enjoyed this and really had learned a lot about their position on the horse. For more information on Pilates and the perfect seat, you can go to our website at www.fourwindsequestriancenter.com and take a look at the new clinic that's coming up with Kerry Pickens on September 12th. She will be doing another Pilates class and an equitation class to help you with that perfect seat. I want to thank you folks for joining us today here on Equine Compass. You can hear us every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. right here on X 88.7 FM.
This Equine Compass show has been made possible in part by Western Trails Veterinary Hospital, offering vet care for small or large animals. House calls and after-hours emergencies available. Located at 2126 Old Route 66, Edgewood. Open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 286-4604.